All right, what is going on, everybody? We got some NBA games to yap about. Um, Bucks at Heat and Lakers at the Suns in Phoenix. If you like what I have to say, or you have any comments of your own, drop them in the comment section, like the video, and all that good stuff. Um, let's just jump right into it. These are both NBA Emirates Cup games. Um, Going with the more exciting game of the two. Last night we'll start off with Bucks and Heat. The Bucks narrowly escape with the win, 106 to the Heat's 103. Um, this game was very reminiscent of Damian Lillard on the Blazers, where it was just Dame and a bunch of guys going against a middle of the pack team that could probably beat them, um, and almost did, but they pulled it out. Some questionable calls at the end of the game, in my opinion. Um, I haven't really seen any discourse about it on Twitter or anything, so it might just be my eyes. But there were some some missed calls against the Heat, uh, or missed calls against the Bucks that the Heat should have gotten. Let me clarify. Um, just going through the stats real quick. Dame dropped almost 40 points. He had 37, 12 assists, 8 for 13 from three, 10 for 17 overall. Um, Brook chipped in with 13, didn't rebound particularly well. Torian Prince chipped in with 10. Uh, they both made three plus threes. Uh, AJ Green, 9 points, 3 for 7. Andre Jackson Jr. Is it AJ Green? Let me check. I had to check if it's AJ Green. Let me see. Let me see. It is AJ Green. Yes, I got it right. I knew that was AJ. Anyway, this Bucks team was without Giannis last night. He was a last minute scratch. Um, and Chris Middleton is supposedly working his way back into playing in the next couple games. Uh, no later probably than Christmas time. It seems like he's getting back into game form in the coming weeks. But to just talk about this Bucks team, um, I saw a lot of good things. A lot of guys stepped up. Um, this was almost another Doc Rivers masterclass in um, losing to a team you should probably beat. But I will say he held it together. Doc Rivers sort of almost coached his ass off against Eric Spoelstra. Um, I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. You know, in almost every statistical category, the Bucks were better. Um, Free throw percentage, 3 point percentage. Um, the rebounding was questionable, but they had more assists. Um, they had more blocks. They did have more turnovers. um, they had they didn't have points in the paint. They uh they didn't I don't know what I'm trying to say. They didn't they didn't do anything particularly bad, is what I'm trying to say. And they never let the Heat lead. They got off to a great start, and they just kind of kept that momentum going through the whole way. Um, Guys off the bench for them: Bobby Portis, Beauchamp, Connaughton, Wright, uh, Gary Trent. They were just kind of there. Portis took some ill-advised threes, in my opinion. He took some crazy ones, especially in like crunch time. He took some wild ones. I think he took one in like the middle of the third where it hit nothing but backboard, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" Um, but yeah, I'll get to the Heat, and then we can talk about both these teams in a larger scheme of things. But the Heat played well. The Heat played their butt off. They tried to get back into this game, and they did. Again, there were a couple calls that were questionable that they probably should have gotten. Um, The Jimmy Butler one was driving to the lane. Um, there were a couple putbacks that they didn't get the end one for. Um, but going through it, Jimmy Butler had 23. He played 37 minutes. Tyler here played 40 minutes. He did not shoot. He did not shoot the ball particularly well. 5 for 14, field goal, 3 for 9 from 3 point, 18 points. Bam with 16. He made 1 3. Um, Jimmy did not even attempt a three. He just was getting to the cup, as Jimmy Butler does in his older years. Hayward Highsmith 2, Duncan Robinson 11, and the bench really just sucked. Besides Terry Rozier, Terry Rozier hit a big three, cut the lead down to 2-3, and they only lost by 3. So if he could have made another one, might be talking about a different game today. Um, but really, both of these teams are very similar to me in the sense of you need a little more. You need a little more to compete in this Eastern Conference. Um, Obviously the Bucks were without Giannis, but even when they do have Giannis, you're asking guys like AJ Green, you're asking guys like Andre Jackson Jr., you're asking guys like DeLon Wright, you're asking guys like Beauchamp, who really isn't in the rotation for them. You're asking guys like Pat Connaughton, who Pat really hasn't been the same since the championship run, to like bolster your bench and like provide real game minutes for you. And I don't think that's something that they can sustain. Giannis and Dame can only take them so far, and with Doc Rivers as the coach, I don't think it's far enough. Um, and the Heat are just middle of the pack. They are just here. I'm a big fan of Bam. I think Bam Adebayo is a great player. I think he's just reached his peak, and I think people, fans of him, and people who just like him as a player, would want more from him. A game like this where Giannis is out and you're getting guarded by Brook Lopez essentially and um, Bobby Portis. Brook is a bit older. He's not the defender he used to be. Bobby Portis isn't the defender he was either when they won the championship. But Bam needs to do more. And Tyler, I can excuse it because Tyler just shot bad. It wasn't his night tonight. But Bam getting to the cup, making the right plays, doing all this. You had 5 rebounds and 5 assists. As a fan of Bam, I would always want him to do more in these situations where you probably could have taken this game away from the Bucks if you had 26 instead of 16. You know what I mean? Um, and that's just really it. Jimmy obviously is always gonna give it 110%. He took some hard falls during this game, and there were some missed calls that he probably should have gotten. But yeah, shout out Scary Terry. Um, Came off the bench with 17. They really needed it, and he almost won them the game. So yeah, that is the uh, NBA Emirates Cup game one of last night. Game two, um, the far less interesting one, at least to me. Lakers at Phoenix. Phoenix won the game 127 to Lakers flat 100 points. Um, both are 10-7 on the season now. Um, just going through the stats. This, just for context, this game was probably over beginning of the third quarter, um, or beginning to middle of the third quarter. The Phoenix just blew it open, and the Lakers had no response really. They made a couple close runs, but they didn't get it within 10. Um, Anthony Davis with 25 and 15, great double double for him, going against Yusuf Nurkic. Rui with 7, LeBron James almost a triple double, 2 rebounds short, 18, 10, and 8. Um, didn't shoot the ball well, 2 for 7. Cam Reddish, 0 points in 23 minutes. Why is Cam Reddish still getting like starting assignments? Because like He wasn't guarding KD. He wasn't guarding Bradley Beal. He wasn't guarding Devin Booker. They all had 20 plus points. So what is he doing out there? He's out there doing cardio. Austin Reeves with 15. Jackson Hayes at 7. D'Angelo Russell with 16. Don't connect with 7. Um, yeah, this is that kind of night where you run into the Suns and they just have you just know they have all the firepower and they have all the momentum just off off the rip, just out of the gate. Um, Again, the big three, KD, Beal, Booker, all had 20 plus. Uh, Booker was the closest to 30 at 26. He had 10 assists as well. They all shot it pretty well. They all made at least three threes on 6 to 7 attempts. Yusef Nurkic, 12 and 12. A classic battle between Yusef Nurkic and Anthony Davis. They've been doing this for a while. um, Jones, 8 points, 6 assists. You don't really need too much from when games like this happen. And you have the bench. The bench really didn't need to come in and do anything because they were already up. They just needed to keep the lead. Grayson Allen with 10. Um, this was just sort of a blowout game. I have no real thoughts on it. It's just sort of kind of what the Lakers will run into in the West is that you probably don't have enough firepower. You might be able to eke out a win if like one of them's having a bad night, but when all of them are having a great night, you're not going to win the game. And just going over to the stats, um, Suns had a better field goal percentage overall. Um, Suns had a 20% better 3 point percentage. The Lakers shot 23% on threes. Um, Suns made more free throws, had more rebounds, had more offensive and defensive rebounds, had more assists. This was just a blowout. I don't even need to go through all this. This was just a blowout. Um, the largest lead was 30. Um, yeah. It's the age-old question: how much help does LeBron need? I'm joking. I don't. I just think this team just this Lakers team is just in such a weird spot because at times they look really good, but then when you get to like these upper echelon teams of the West, you start to realize LeBron's really showing his age at times. Anthony Davis can try his hardest, but if like if three players on the other team have 20 points and nobody on the Lakers has 20 points besides Anthony Davis, for example, you're not going to win that game. You're just not going to win that game. Um, and and Russ isn't the answer. D'Angelo Russell. Um, and I saw something today where it's like, well, if the Lakers get Christian Wood and Vando back, um, they could be better. I don't quite subscribe to that theory. I think Jared Vanderbilt he's been so injury prone. It feels like, oh, he's coming back. He's been coming back for the past 2 years. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of exhausting at this point to go through that. Let me actually see how many games Jared Vanderbilt has played. Basketball reference. Um, it feels like he's been coming back for 2 years now, and I like Vanderbilt's length. I like his intensity. Um, he's been a journeyman already in his career. He's played for a bunch of different teams. Um, he's played for Denver. He's played for Minnesota. He's played for Utah. Um, and now he's in LA. And the guy's only ever played the most amount of games he's ever played for the Lakers is 26, 29. Pardon me. And that's this year. He's played 29 games. Oh, wait, no, that was last year. Oh my God, I'm looking at this completely wrong. He played 26 and 29. I don't think he's played a game this year at all. Yeah, he hasn't played a game at all this year. Or has he? I don't know. The point is, he hasn't played more than 30 games, right? What he brings is so specific. Like, in this game, he probably does start on Kevin Durant and probably guards him pretty well, but the Lakers need to do something. And I feel like I've said that a lot in this video about the Bucks and the Heat, but I just feel like the Lakers don't have the firepower. They would need some really good breaks in the West to make a deep run, and I think these are the kind of games that you look at LeBron and you like, oh, we just kind of just this one was over, just throw in the towel. It's the beginning of the season, don't need to worry about it. You make it up at the back end, you know. And I'll stick with that. I think that's a good assessment. Not to overreact to any of these games, but yeah, more so for the Lakers, not the other teams. But definitely that's a good consensus to not overreact to them too much. But might need a little more firepower. Um, moving on to tonight's games, Wednesday's night game. Um, you have the Knicks at Dallas. You have OKC at Golden State. Let's see if we have any injuries to report here. Um, Dallas has Quentin Grimes questionable, Derek Lively's questionable, Klay Thompson questionable, Luka Doncic out still, and Dante Exum is out. Interesting. I would bet most of those guys play. New York, no one too important's out. Precious Achiuwa was out. That was on November 20th. That was recently. Yeah, he's been out for a couple of days now. OKC, Alex Caruso's out. Jalen Williams is out. Chet Holmgren's obviously out. Usman Dang out. And let's see, Golden State. The Anthony Melton is out, done for the season. If you didn't see the news for the Warriors, so yeah. Let's get into these tonight's games. Yesterday was the first time I got both the primetime games correct. The Bucks won and the Phoenix Suns won. So I'm pretty proud of that. Um, so Knicks at Dallas. I'm gonna have to take the Knicks. I feel like the Knicks have started to put together a lot better the last couple weeks, and I'll give it to them tonight. And OKC at Golden State. Give me Golden State, man. I'll make the homer pick. I'll make the fan in me would say Golden State. So yeah, and that's it. That is the quickest wrap up I've done thus far, and I'm very proud of that. Try not to ramble too much. Let me know how you guys are enjoying the NBA Cup down below. I'm enjoying it so far. There's been some good games. Obviously, they try to make these games more rivalry games. Bucks and Heat, they go back a couple years now. Um, Stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Yesterday was my 20th video. I think that's a big deal. It's a lot of videos in just 1 month of the NBA season. So we'll see if we can keep it up. I always try to bring you guys content. And again, if you like video, like it. If you have your own thoughts or opinions, comment it. And if you like the vibe overall, maybe hit the subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all tomorrow with tonight's games. Cheers.